Hey guys, it's SJB Drive Hard Daily here. Um, I'm making this video about my new Crested gecko. This one is named Corella because she's a Dalmatian, a brindle Dalmatian. Um, she's in there if you see her. Um, so yeah, let me get to my story. Basically, I had her in here for about a month and a half, and I've yet to see her eat her Crested gecko diet food, right? So what I've had to do is move her into a little Tupperware like this, so that way I can monitor her poop and see if she eats. Um, all you need to do is put a little bit of like fake plants in there and like a small hide, a little water dish, and try multiple different kinds of food because sometimes the gecko could be picky and you want to determine what they like. But yeah, I had her in here and she was refusing to eat, so I had to move her in here. She'll eat bugs, no problem. But like I said, when it comes to the Crested gecko diet, she seems to refuse to eat it. So what I'm going to do is not offer her bugs, keep her in a small Tupperware like this, a little bit smaller in height than the critter keeper, but same boat, you know, floor space. And yeah, monitor her poo and make sure she eats her food. I'll do this for about a week and see if she starts eating. And what I'm going to do in the meantime is not offer her any bugs. I got another two Crested geckos. They seem to eat no problem in their enclosures. Let's see if you can see them. Yeah, Roxy's in there in the back, and then Little's behind her enclosure. You can kind of see her tail. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is leave her in here for about a week, so that way I know she's eating. When I know she's eating, I'll throw her back into her enclosure. Because like I said, I've had her in here for about a month and a half. She's yet to show that she eats any Crested gecko diet, where my other two, I've seen indents in the food at times. Not every day, maybe once every 3 days. It depends. I know that my one Little has just shed for the first time while she was with me, so I know she'll probably go off food for a little bit. So I'll just monitor Little and make sure she doesn't have a hard time getting back into food. For Roxy, she seems to maybe eat the food once every 3 days. But with her, I'm going to do the same thing as Corella and make sure that I just don't feed her any bugs, so that way she gets back onto the Crested gecko diet. Because I've seen Roxy actually eat out of her Crested gecko diet food, like I've seen indents in the food when I've pulled it out before, I'm not so worried about her. Corella, I've had for a month and a half, and I've yet to see any indent in the food at all, not even a lick mark or it being disturbed at all. So I've learned to try to mix it in a way and lay it down that if she does touch it, I'll see it. That's why you can see it spread all around the rim, and then this one is kind of like piled up in a way that if she starts to lick from somewhere, hopefully I see the indentation. But yeah, if you're having like a similar problem with your Crested gecko not eating, and you have them in maybe this is like a 8 by 8, I think it's 8 by 18 by 12 high, so it's not like the normal size, but it's basically a 12 by 12 by 12. It's just not as wide on the side. I find that this is okay for juveniles up to about 1 year old, and then after that you would obviously have to get a bigger enclosure. But Corella here is, I think, about 5-6 months old, and she's only 7.8 grams when I last weighed her. So she's definitely underweight, and I know that she hasn't been eating since I got her. It's not like, oh well, like people say, oh well, sometimes you'll notice like the crested gecko won't eat. They have tiny stomachs. I think that's kind of a lie when you're feeding them only maybe. Oh, where's my Zoom Ed food? This is perfect. When you're feeding them only a tiny little scoop, like not even half full of the Zoom Ed scoop, I'm only feeding them about half to put into these little containers, right? So you're using very little food. With my other two geckos, I give them about half a cup as well, and I'll notice maybe about a quarter cup gone. And the other two geckos are under 10 grams as well, but they're not as old as Corella. Corella here I've had to worry about, because when I got her, the person told me that she could be 4 to 6 months, and that was a month and a half ago. So with his math, on the worst case scenario, she could almost be 7.5 months old, and she's only 7.8 grams. So from my research, I've seen that she's definitely underweight. She should be going through growth spurts. I've been feeding her bugs, like 2 bugs one bug every 5 days since I've got her as well, but she seems to not eat her crested gecko diet. So what I would recommend if you're having this kind of issue is just put them in a smaller tub for like a week and try and monitor if they're actually eating. If they're actually going to eat their crested gecko diet, and they do it in 2-3 days, and they do it again the next day, maybe just put them back in their enclosure and see how they work, how they do. They might have just been having a hard time finding their food. I'm not an expert in this, so this is why I've had to do this. If you have any comments on what you think I should do, go ahead, feel free to leave them below in the comments, because I'm more than happy to try to take in some information on what you guys might suggest. But yeah, I've had her in this critter keeper for about a month and a half, and I've yet to see any indent in the food. So sorry, Corella, you've had to get put into here. But yeah, guys, if you have any comments, leave them down below, and have a nice day.